Started. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you are calling in from. Welcome to our webinar series, Bluebeam 101, where we go through 5 days of 30-minute quick snapshots, really, of classes that we already have and that we've created and that we do on a daily basis around here. Today we are focused on cloud basics. My name is Scott Koenig. I'm one of the software trainers here at Bluebeam. I was here on Tuesday with you going through the measurements basics of Bluebeam. So today we're going to focus on cloud. Uh, excuse me. All righty. GoToWebinar, if you're familiar with it, if you've been here all week with us, great. You probably know exactly what I'm going to talk about. But up there in the top right corner is a little white or a little question mark inside of a call out. If you look for that call out, or that question mark, you click on that. You can type in your question at the bottom. It says submit a question, and then I'll get that on my side, and I'll be able to answer it as we kind of go through. Keep in mind. It's 30 minutes, so we're kind of short on time, so I don't want to get too caught in the weeds with regards to questions, but I will hang out at the end and answer those questions as much to my ability as I can. So anything I can't answer, I'll take back and get you an answer. So just so you're aware of that. The schedule for the week, good to know. Just because the week's over doesn't mean we're not going to do it again. We do this every month, but on Mondays we take look at markup basics. Tuesdays we look at measurement basics. Wednesday is drawing management basics, and that's really your setup tools, how to set up things. Studio basics is Thursday, and then Friday today is cloud basics. Follow us on any one of those social media platforms there at the bottom, and you can know when we're doing these classes again and come on back and check it out. I do apologize though. All the jokes are pretty much the same every time you come through it. So just be aware of that. Uh, the agenda for today, uh, not a lot in there. Of course, it's 30 minutes, so there shouldn't be too much. We're going to take a quick look at studio projects and sessions. And I mean really quick and brief because yesterday, the 30 minutes was all about studio projects and sessions. And so we will talk a little bit about those and how the collaboration works through that process. And that's really the big key is the collaboration aspect of Bluebeam Cloud, being able to work with in the web projects as well as mobile sessions, as well as desktop and how they all interact together. And so that's really the beauty of cloud. All right, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to I think my next slide says thank you. So I don't want to say thank you just yet. Let's jump over and we'll start here in Studio. So again, if you were with us yesterday, you were in Studio. You went through Studio probably pretty quickly. Glennis probably took you through that. There's a plus sign up here, and again, Studio is here. Studio is included in every seat of review. So if you're thinking, oh, is this something extra I have to pay for? The answer is no. You look for that little Studio icon. Can't find it? Right click underneath, go to Show, and you'll see it in alphabetical order. It's called Studio. Studio has two parts to it, right? You have Studio Projects and Studio Sessions. And so Studio Projects is a document management system, allows you to store your documents, your project level documents. You can have unlimited number of documents in there. It's unlimited space in there, and you have unlimited file types. So I can actually store Excel documents and Word documents and anything else that I might need, their images, things of that nature. If I try to open any of those, it'll just launch that software in my system as long as I have that software. But when it comes to collaboration, what we kind of build this through is that really everything starts here in projects. You create a project, and I'm going to open up a project I created called Bluebeam 101 Cloud, which is what we're doing. And in here is the project. I've got these files stored in there. Now, with this project, I've got the tree version here on the left that I can click any one of those. I can add files. I can add folders as well to kind of organize this a little better. Um, Again, unlimited file space. So if you're going to put in 10,000 documents, that's great. You should give it some organization or else nobody's going to use it. It's going to be kind of worthless. But you'll notice that there's some symbols here in a couple of these. And when I point to them, it says it's in a session. And so some of these files have been put into a session, and I did that. And so when we're talking collaboration, we load our files into projects, right? So everybody has access to it. right? So you have access on the web, you have access on the mobile to these projects to be able to see them and in some cases interact with them. And so I do this. I set up this session, studio session. If you're not familiar with studio sessions, strongly encourage you to come back next month, or you can go out to our free videos, which I'll show you where those are in a little bit, and you can peruse studio projects and sessions. But up here, I have a session icon. It's still in studio, and I can go in there and I can open up that session itself. And now this is still the project, so I can close the project, but I put these 4 documents into this Studio Session. Now, Studio Session is a live collaboration tool. And so what it allows us to do is collaborate live together on the same set of documents. So from anywhere on the planet. So I did this with a group in Sofia, Bulgaria. And as I drew a cloud, they saw the cloud. As they drew a cloud, I saw the cloud. And so that live collaboration without actually leaving the comfort of your home or your office or wherever you might be, to be able to mark up documents at the same time with other people. Very similar to being in a conference room together. Uh, that's why I call it the virtual conference room. And so you'll see you can go in there. You have all these markups that are here, and these markups are on this particular document, and you see that in here. So the collaboration then comes into this. Now, studio sessions, you can have up to 5,000 documents, up to 1 megabyte each. I'm sorry, 1 gigabyte each. Uh, sorry about that. Uh, and so you can have up to 500 people in here as well, marking up, although that's a lot of people, so I can't imagine that, but you can. And so again, you have the ability to be able to collaborate, to work together in studio sessions. And so the question has always been, well, okay, that's great. What about outside of that? How can we collaborate with people that are out in the field? Um, they don't necessarily walk around with a desktop. They might have a laptop, so that might work. Some of them have tablets, and tablets are, you can load the full version of Bluebeam onto a tablet. But what about um, being able to collaborate with them? And so we have Bluebeam Cloud. Bluebeam Cloud is it's in a web. This is my internet, right? So this is internet that I'm working in. I can't even think of the name of it now, but in any event, it's this one. Right off the top of my head, I just totally drew a blank. That's okay, because that's not as important as the software. Um, but when you go into cloud, and again, the nice thing about this is, let's say you have a desktop at your desk or even a laptop at your desk, you leave it there, you go home for the night, and you're thinking, gosh, you know what, I forgot to do something. You can go in, log into Bluebeam, go to bluebeam.com, click login at the top right, put in your login information, and you can join the cloud. Now, cloud isn't included in every seat of Review 21. So as long as you have a subscription to Review 21, you will have access to Bluebeam Cloud. And so I can go in, and as long as those cloud projects and sessions are created on the desktop, I can go in and access them here. It also saves for those that might maybe at home have a Mac, and you think, well, great, I can't do a lot with Bluebeam on Mac because we don't have a Mac product anymore. And so you may think, well, what about that? Well, this is in a web browser, so everything's hosted on the web, so you can easily open up the internet, get into your web cloud version of Bluebeam, and be able to access those. But again, it all starts in studio sessions and projects. So here on the web, just to go through a few things, you've got a documents section here. You'll see add accounts. I'll talk about accounts you can add in, and you can pull files in and work with them on an individual basis. My workspace is another place to put files in that you want to work with, or even files that I might have been shared with you as well. But the key ones here are studio projects and studio sessions. When I go to studio projects, you're gonna see similar to what you saw on my desktop. My desktop had 4 projects that were there. And so I have these 4 projects that I have in here, and I'm looking at these and I think, okay, well, I want to go in and access that particular uh, project, right? So I can go in and I can say, Bluebeam 101 Cloud, and I can click on that. It's going to open up that particular project. So there's all the files that I had in that project. If I come in and I want to open up a file, I can click on it and open it. It'll load that file in, open it up here. Might take just a second. My internet's not the fastest here at my house, but there we go. And so there, that file is open. Now, when you're working in cloud, couple things to just realize, especially if you're familiar with the desktop. Your scroll wheel on your mouse does not zoom in, zoom out, unless you hold the control key down. So when I hold the control key down, now I can zoom in and zoom out. What it does do without the control key is it will scroll up and down. So just keep that in mind. And in the desktop, we have the ability to go back and forth. Between the two, right? We have the buttons down on the navigation bar that we can switch, but this is going to be driven by the control key. Now, when you think, okay, well, what about pan? Okay, so I can click and drag to pan. Well, no, click and drag will draw cool boxes. If you want to pan around the document, another habit to get into, and this works in the desktop as well. So what I've done personally is I've actually started to do that in the desktop is click and hold your scroll wheel down. If you have a scroll wheel, that will allow you to pan your document. Again, that does work in the desktop as well, and so sometimes that can be kind of helpful and beneficial to you. This particular document, again, it's in a project. Typically with projects, if you were here yesterday and you heard this and learned this, if not, projects, you have to check files out if you want to make markups and add to them. Well, notice up here at the top, you see the name of the file. To the right of that is a padlock. Now, it's really hard for me to see on my computer, so if you can't see it that well, I understand. But the reason it's grayed out is because I cannot check this file out. Now, you may say, well, wait a minute, Scott, why? Why can't you check this file out? Here's the reason. That file is in that studio session. So if it's in a studio session, it's set up for live collaboration. Therefore, it's already checked out. And so you cannot check out multiple files at the same time. One file, I'm sorry, you can check out multiple files at the same time. I want to make sure I say that correctly. Two people cannot check out the same file at the same time. That gives us one single source of truth. Otherwise, you have too many files with multiple information all over the place trying to get them together. And so with this, I can't check this one out, but I will show you in a second you can. To the right of that, I'll show you a document. You can. To the right of that, I have these three dots. When I click on it, I can see the revision history of this document. I can also download this document. So download would just take a copy of it, put it onto my desktop or on my computer somewhere, and then I can go in and look around and do things with it as well. Let's go back. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to grab a file that I can actually check out, and let's I'm trying to remember which ones are in there. Those two. I think now let's go with the reflected light ceiling plan. Doesn't really matter which document, but just one that I can actually check out. So on this, you're going to see up here, you've got this padlock. Notice it is showing me that I can check it out. And so when I click on it, it's going to go ahead and check that file out to me. And now if someone in the desktop were to look at it, it'll say that the file is in fact checked out. And so notice this has blue. There's blue inside here, and that's because there's spaces. Spaces have been set up in the desktop. Spaces cannot be set up here, but spaces can be set up in the desktop, and so that allows us to, for example, I can have this conference room over here, this open office room 200 is probably a space in itself, so that when I actually add markups, it will document that information for me. So spaces are really great, but spaces are something that's done in the desktop and benefited in the cloud as well. You'll notice since I checked this file out, I have the ability to mark up. So I've got my markups over here on the far left. And a couple things about the markups. Your select key is your default. Under that, you have your cloud, but notice you also have this little arrow there. So when I click and hold my left mouse button, just a long click with that left mouse button, you're going to notice these are my shapes, right? So I have cloud, I have rectangle, I have ellipse. So I can grab the cloud and I can go ahead and just draw a cloud around that open office area. Now, if I add that in there and I look at that and I go, okay, open office, great. I see that. Nice. Okay, let's do, I don't really want like the blue. Let's change that, right? So I have my properties toolbar, a lot smaller than what you see, but I have maybe dark green there. The line width, if I want to change that, if I click, I can click up or down to change that line width. I've got line opacity. If I click, let's see what's going on here. There we go. That was a little interesting. Um, it's the wonders of working at home sometimes. If I click on that, I've got the line opacity. If I click on line opacity, it gives me a slider bar that I can slide that line opacity. And again, line opacity is that darkness or of the line. I can change the fill color. Maybe we go light green, and then same thing with fill opacity. I can make it really dark, make it really light. Again, whatever is needed. And so again, I can change those. So those are my shapes. Below that, I've got a vector pen. Vector pen is going to be for your polyline, which is just multiple click, right? It's a line that does multiple clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can do weird line things, and there it is. I'll go ahead and get rid of that. Below that, you have your text box. So you can draw your text box with things, your arrow tool as well. You've got call out. Now notice call out has um, a it's a call out, but it has a little gray arrow again. Click and hold your left mouse button. I get call out and Cloud Plus. So these are going to be your tools that are more than just shapes, right? Your call out is a text box with an arrow. Cloud Plus is a cloud with an arrow. So again, you just kind of see those different tools there. Under that, you have a highlighter. Again, a little arrow there. So I click and hold, and I see highlighter and pen. So these are going to be your pen tools. And again, those are free hand tools. So just kind of keep that in mind. Right. And so there you have it. I can change that. Again, it's selected. So I can say, no, let's do a yellow highlighter and let's do, yeah, 100%. There you go. And so again, your typical tools that you've seen, you can add images as well. If a document is calibrated, then you can also go in and take a length measurement. Um, if I try, oops, not image. If I go down here and try to take a length measurement, this document I think is calibrated, so or slightly calibrated. It should be, there you go, 30 feet. And so normally I would zoom in, zoom out, but down here at the very bottom, you're going to see there's another toolbar there. You have an undo button, which is great. You can have, your pages, right? Full page, scrolling pages kind of thing. You have your zoom, and you have your edit scale, so I can go in there and I can change the scale. So this particular one is in fact uh, calibrated, and so I can take that measurement. So length measurement is currently, well, I don't know. There's a little arrow there. Let's hold it. Oh, look at that. We got area measurement, poly length measurement, count. That is awesome because that is pretty new. So that a very cool thing that we can go in there and do those as well. So I can take an area measurement, and now because I saw it and I just want to play, I'm going to come in here and let's zoom in a little bit. You do not have the snap to functions on here features. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, the snap to is just snapping to the line. So you do have to be more careful with that. But look at that. We've got area measurement. Very cool. I get excited every time something new rolls out, especially if I wasn't 100% sure about it. But again, you've got all your tools here. Up here at the very top, you have tool chest, so you can click on that and you can have your tool sets. These are some default tool sets, but I notice I have a plus sign, so I can create a brand new tool set and add tools to it. I can upload a tool set from my desktop. Now, to do that in the desktop, you go to your tool sets. In your tool chest of those different tool sets, there's a gear to the far right side. You can click on that and you can export it, put it into a desktop location somewhere, and then you can upload it from there, and then you'll have those tools here. Keeping in mind that not all tools are represented here in cloud. There might be some differences. color differences, things like that as well. But for the most part, you have pretty much all the tools you'll need. Another thing in this, if you wonder, wait, where's the markups list? Because I don't have that in here. We do have a markups list. When I click on this item here, over here on the far right, there's a little uh, icon with a cloud and a text box. When you click on it, there you see your markups list. And so there's my length measurement. When I click on this, it highlights it for me. There's cloud. I can leave a comment. I can see more details if I want to, who did it, things, the date, and things like that. I can also come in here and change the status if I'd like to as well here in cloud. If you're working on a multi-page document down here, I can click on that and you'll see the multiple pages. This document happens to be just one page, so you won't see any more pages, but that's what that blue tab is for. When I'm done, I can come back up here, click on that and check it in. I can check in without saving the edits. So if I just said, you know what, I don't really want to save those, I can, or I can leave a comment. The comment is for your revision history. And so I can, I can say added markups. And I'm just going to say for class because that's what we're doing. And I can go ahead and check that file back in. So it will go ahead and save this file, check it back in, lock it again. And so now, and save my changes that I made so that anyone else going in there would then be able to. So again, being able to do that uh, from the cloud. Studio sessions in the cloud on the web version here. You'll notice I've got that one session that was there. If I click on it, I can go ahead and go into that. I can add things. I can make changes to things. We'll go ahead and get this open. Up here at the top, you'll notice again, there's the session that I'm in. There's the three dots. This one says rename studio session, manage documents, and delete studio session. If you're not the owner of this, I suggest you probably don't play with that. And as a matter of fact, if you're not the owner, you may not see those, but especially deleting it, there's a better way to actually close it and delete it that gives you reports in the desktop. So I'll show you that before we jump out of this 30 minutes today. And I better move. Um, so to the right, here's all the files that I have, those 4 files that are there. I can download them if I want to. If I want to add, um, something in here, let's get in there. Let's say I want to go in here and I want to add a cloud there. Again, I can go ahead and I can add a cloud and add that in there. And I'll just leave that there. Again, whatever I need to do, my markups I can do in here as well. Um, all the same that we saw already, all the markup tools are there. Your tool chest stuff is here. Multiple pages is here if that document has multiple pages. When I said 5,000 documents, you put 5,000 documents up to 1 gigabyte each. Each document can be more than one page, so it can be several pages, just as long as it doesn't go over that gigabyte. You have your markups list over here as well. And if you want to invite somebody, you have share over here too. So session's a little different here. And the reason why session's a little different in here, let me go out of it, is because in sessions, I can create a session from the web page as well. So I can come in here and click create. I can give it a session name. I can add documents in there. I can add attendees as well and put those in there. Now, when you're adding files, you can browse, which is going to open up your file explorer and you go grab the files, or you can import. Now, import says connected accounts. Now, I'm going to come out of this so I can show you connected accounts. Up here, this little guy over here in the top right, you have connected accounts there. I can add accounts from Box, Dropbox, Ignite, OneDrive, SharePoint. More are coming. We're working with more to be able to do that. You can connect those accounts, create a studio session, pull files from those accounts so that then you can start collaborating and you can do that creation and everything right here from the web. You don't have to necessarily do that in the desktop. Currently, studio projects we cannot create. We can edit and do some things here, check them out, make some changes, but we cannot create any studio projects currently in the web. So keep that in mind as well. All right, one last thing to show you, or a couple things to show you, but one kind of cool thing to show you is here is my iPad, and this is the mobile aspect of it. So even out in the field, if I'm working on iPad or a tablet, I've got these uh, things here. Again, this is Studio Projects. Down here at the bottom, you're going to see Studio Projects. So there's my 4 projects. Projects is really, I mean, most of this is really visible in projects, so you can't actually go in and check out files and do anything with them. Let me check. Let me click on that reflected ceiling plan again. So here I can see the changes that I just made. So again, it's going to allow me to see those. Um, when I tap on it, you'll be able to see there's my overview of it. This is my markups information, right? Cloud, the markup is locked because it's technically it's mine, but I can't make any changes to it. Uh, and so you kind of see that there. But notice no toolbar. I can't add anything to it. There's 3 dots up here in the top right. That's going to give you multiple pages, your revision history, and if you want to download it as well. And so that is basically with Studio projects currently in the cloud. It's for visual reference only. Studio sessions, on the other hand, a little different. I can go in there and on my iPad here, I can go ahead and I can open up any one of these documents. Let's go ahead and open that one up. We'll see that change that we made down here at the bottom at some point. Come on now. There we go. There's that cloud that was added in there, but notice with Studio Sessions, I do have all of my icons. As a matter of fact, I can, um, let's see, as a matter of fact, I can click on image down here in the bottom and I can say, let's take a picture from my camera. I'll give you a picture outside my house right there. It's my arm in the way there. There you go. And so I can go ahead and do that. This is really great because if you're walking around a job site and you're thinking, gosh, you know what, I need to add, let's tap right in there and make that picture, make it a little smaller there. Great. I can move it up, put it right there. Awesome. And so I can change line color, line width. But if you're walking around the job site somewhere and you're thinking, hey, you know what, I see something, I got to say something, I need to get this information to people that it's important, you can jump into a studio session. If the session is already created, notice I can't create a session here. But if the session is created, you can jump into that, go to that part of the drawing, take an image, take a picture, and place it right on your drawing. And everyone else should have it immediately. So let me go ahead and go back out of here. So this is mobile. Again, projects, sessions down here, but nothing to create a session. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. I want to go back to really quick my desktop as we kind of wrap. Notice you've been disconnected from that session because I opened the session in the other place. I say, okay, go back into my desktop. We'll open up that session here and we will see, and my iPad just told me that it disconnected me. If I come in here, look at that floor plan, there is the picture I took from the iPad and the cloud that I added from the web. Again, collaboration, being able to do from the desktop to the field, to desktop to the home and the web, and then even out in the field with your iPads and your tablets and things of that nature. And when I say mobile, I mean mobile, meaning I can guarantee you, not all walking around the job sites with iPads usually or tablets. You might, but not a lot. I guarantee you, every single person has a phone in their pocket, iPhone, Android. Um, we're working towards making this as seamless as possible with all those devices. And so iPad and Android they do work. iPad or the iPhone can do a little more than Android at this point, but it is coming. So we're continually doing that. All right, before you run away, a couple things I need you to do for me. One is in the chat window, and that chat is a top right corner, the 2 little icons together, the 2 little call outs together. Click on that, and there's a Survey Monkey there. Just click that link. You don't have to fill it out right this second, but fill it out at some point in the next 30 minutes. That'd be great. But up here on your desktop, if you go to the help menu down here at the bottom, you have training resources. That's free videos. If you need to know more about Studio, check those out. There's free videos in there about it. Bluebeam University, follow us. Go check that out. There's a lot of great classes. We're going to do an hour-long version of collaborating with Bluebeam uh, Cloud next Friday. So next Friday, um, I believe it starts at 10 o'clock Pacific, which is 1 o'clock Eastern time, I believe. So check that out at Bluebeam University and find out. It's called BBU on IL or ILT on BBU, and it's collaborating. We're going to do this in an hour, so we'll actually go through more steps. If you want to join the community, if you have questions or just want to chat with somebody about something specific, come out to Bluebeam Community and we will chat probably with one of the trainers as well as other people here at Bluebeam that are taking a look at that. All right, let me go back to my PowerPoint. Now I want to say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. I know 30 minutes is like a drinking out of a fire hose, but you guys, thanks for hanging in there with me. Um, Again, Bluebeam University, university.bluebeam.com, or go to the help menu, Bluebeam University. Community, same thing there. Support.bluebeam.com cannot praise this enough. This is a really great support site. If you have questions and you need answers, go in there and type in your question or your topic, what you're looking for. You're going to get some information. This is where I go if, in fact, I get questions in class that I don't know the answers to. So that's typically where I go. All right. With that said, you are free to go do whatever you're supposed to do. Again, if you could click on that two little call out buttons together. That's the chat window. Find that SurveyMonkey link that I put in there. Fill that out for me. I'd appreciate it. Just hit submit. And you guys have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. It is Friday. Don't forget that. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.